Hello and welcome to a tutorial video on how to create a map for Desc Drive using the Desc Drive map loader. I won't be going over how to install the mod um, or how to install Melon Loader or any of that. We're just going to get straight into making a map. If you want to know how to install the mod and want to know how to install Melon Loader, I recommend going to the GitHub page and following the instructions here. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I'll try to get to you as soon as possible. Now, first, you want to go ahead and install Unity Hub. That should be pretty easy. And there's steps here that you can follow to get to this point right here. If you're confused, again, ask me in the comments and I will get to you as soon as possible. So now, once you're in this scene area, we're going to go over a couple of things I want to mention before getting started. When creating a custom map, make sure your scene name is unique. So say when we create a new scene, make sure this is unique. So you use your username and then the map name. So we're going to do rustic void underscore, say, floating roads or floating road. And now when you created your scene, you can go ahead and open it like this. So that's good. But there are a couple things you need for a Desc Drive map to work. You need the checkpoints, the checkpoint manager, the event system, the canvas, and the audio manager. You can grab all these from the template map. So you can just select all of them, right click, copy, going back over to our map and right click and paste it in. So now that everything's here, I'm going to go ahead and go to the checkpoints and I'm going to select all these and I'm going to just turn them all on. All right. And we'll get back to that in just a minute. But now that we have everything put here, we also need the spawns. So we'll go back to the template, work out the spawns right here, go right here, and then just go ahead and paste the spawns in. And now we should be good to run the map, but obviously there's no road for the player to drive on, so let's go ahead and add a road. So first, go ahead and create a 3D object, a cube, and we're going to reset the transform. Also, make sure when making a map for Desc Drive, make sure you're on pivot and not center. You can accidentally kind of mess with that if you hit Z, I think. Yeah, Z switches it. Make sure you're on pivot. Because if you're on the center, it can mess up some X and Y coordinates and X, Y, and Z coordinates and whatnot. So just make sure you're on pivot. So yeah, so now we're going to go ahead and change the size of this to be a little bigger. Go ahead and save that. And let's go ahead and move the spawn. Say like just, actually no, it's fine there actually. Yeah, so this is pretty good. Should be good to go ahead and make our map files and stuff. So first thing you want to do is go to your Desc Drive game directory. You can do this by opening Steam, going to Desc Drive, right-clicking, Manager, and Browsable Files. Now once you're here, just go to the Maps folder and create a new folder in here called whatever you want to name your map. For this instance, I'm going to call it Floating Road. Hit OK. Go inside of Floating Road, and we're going to create a couple things here. First, we need the Info.json. This is what stores all the info for your map. So go and open up a parentheses, and we're going to type in the name. So exactly like this, name, and then the name of our map, which is going to be called Floating Road. Then we want to do the description, so DESC, exactly like that again. And this could be called a floating road track, or a floating track. We call it a floating track. And then we want to do the author. So we'll do author. Oop, if I can spell it right. And then for my case, it's just going to be rustic void and spell it correctly. So go ahead and save that, and that should be everything you need. We can go ahead and close this. Then we need an icon. We can go do so by just opening up any image editor and just go ahead and make it a simple icon. I'm going to just make it 124 by 124. I recommend making it look like a square because that's just going to look the best on the map loader. So let's go ahead and just do like my map, like so. So once that's done, we can go ahead and save this to, or not save, sorry. We're going to export this as icon.png, and this needs to be saved to the correct file path. So so once you've created your icon.png and it's in this folder, we should be good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this. And now going back to Unity, we're gonna go to Build, Set Export Path, and make sure this is where the info and icon, make sure it's that folder. So we're gonna grab this up here, go to it, or I'm just gonna enter there. And it should have set it to this path. So now make sure we select our scene for the actual map. So first, go down to your scene, so Rustic Void, or whatever you called it, and going down to the bottom right over here to Asset Bundle, select this, scroll down to New, and we're going to call this whatever. For this one doesn't have to be unique, so I'm just going to call it Floating Road. Okay, so once you've done that, we can come up here to Build and Build Map. And now, okay, so I just realized a problem. So if you're on Windows, this should work and it should export the map here. If it didn't, and say you're on Linux, on Windows it should work. But if you're on Linux and your map isn't exporting, and you go to your console and you get an error like this, you need to go to Unity Hub. You go to Install tabs, go to Manage, Add Modules, and then make sure you add the Windows Build Support Mono and hit Install. This should work. This should already be installed for you automatically on Windows when opening the project and stuff and installing Unity. If it doesn't, you're also having this problem, you could do the same here, like as I'm doing. So once that module gets installed, we should see Windows here, and we need to go ahead and reset the Unity editor. So just make sure you save your scene and close Unity. Okay, we're going to go ahead and reopen the Unity editor. So now if we go to File, Build Settings, we should see that we can switch it from Linux to Windows. And once that's done and done its thing, now close this, and we can just clear all these warnings. Go to Project, and now if we go to make sure this is on the asset bundle, if we go to Build Map, it should go ahead and build it to the correct directory. So yep, there we go. So now we have in our map folder Floating Road. So we should go ahead and launch this inside of the game now. So let's go and launch Ducks Can Drive. Let's go to City, Private, and put in a couple numbers and hit Create and Join. So now in game, we should see our custom map up here. Go ahead and just click that, and bingo, now we're loaded in. You can see we can just go ahead and drive around and stuff. So yeah. So let's just go ahead and make this map, an actual map, make it loop. So first thing we want to do is, for right now, we won't be needing any of these checkpoints. Just hold on to one of them. So I'm just going to go grab all of them and just remove all of them. Just make sure we have one left. So let's just go ahead and make this like a little loop. Okay, so I've made a little bit of a kind of road platform thing. I'm going to go ahead and create an empty object called road. And grab all these cubes and put them in there. Boom. Okay. So now we got this going. So I'm going to grab this checkpoint and I'm just going to move it kind of to like wherever you want to have like the players starting, just move it like right in front of them. This won't be the first checkpoint. The first checkpoint will be a little bit ahead of it. But this, just do something like this, and we're just going to call it from 1 to finish. This will be like this will be the one that people hit when they are finishing a lap. Yeah. So now we can, and I accidentally moved the ring and not the, yeah, make sure you're moving the hitbox and not just the ring model. Yeah, so once you've done that, change it to finish. There you go. And now, a little bit thing you should know is when creating a road, make sure their layer is set to up here. If you click on all your things, go to layer, and make sure it's set to drivable right there. And now if you're making say some ground like off-road stuff, just select the thing that you want to be off-road, come up to layer and change it to off-road, just like that. But we're making a floating map, so we're not gonna do that. But yeah, so once you've done all of that stuff, that should be all that's needed. The spawns, if you want to change the spawns, you can just, remove them or add some. Just make sure it's called spawn like this, and it should work. So let's go ahead and make the extra checkpoints. So We're going to go to checkpoints, check this one, or click on the finish. We're going to copy and paste it. I'm just going to move it up ahead a bit, and we're going to rename it from finish to just 1. And we're going to copy it again, and rotate it this way. And then once we've done this, we're going to call it number 2. And then so on and so forth, just creating a new one and giving it a new number. Oh, that needs to be 3, not 4. Okay, so once you have all your checkpoints done and set out like how you want it, we first want to go to the checkpoint manager, and we're going to scroll down here to the checkpoint manager script. We're going to change our max checkpoint to all of our checkpoints, not including the finished one. So 6 is what we want to have. So I put 6 here, and you can change your lap count if you want it. I'm just gonna put it on, just leave it on 3. Our checkpoints is going to be set to this is including the finished one, so it'll be 7. So now we're going to drag in the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and then the and then finish, and then finish. So yeah. So now once we've added all the checkpoints here, make sure you go and save. We're going to select all of them besides the first one, so all of them including finish, but not the first checkpoint you're going to hit, and hit this little dash up here to hide them. And then it's going to save. We're going to build map. This should go ahead and recompile the map and put it to where you specified it with the set path. So hopefully in here. So now we can go to Steam and launch Dux Can Drive. Okay, so let's go ahead and load our map. Should go ahead and work pretty good. So if we go, we hit the first checkpoint, we hit the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, and the sixth one, and then we should have a lap. There we go. So now we're going to head and make a custom a map for Dux Can Drive. Now, if you fall off the map, there is nothing teleporting you back up. So what I've done is I've made a thing to where if you create an entity, or sorry, not entity, an empty object, and we call this to last checkpoint, exactly like that. So capital T2, capital L last, capital C checkpoint. And then we're gonna right click, or not right click, sorry. Then we're gonna go to this empty object. We're gonna hit add component, and we're gonna do box collider, and make sure this is checked to is trigger. And now once we've done that, I'm gonna set this to be, say, 500, 500, and then the Y can be 20. And just make sure it covers your whole map, or wherever spots the player might fall and not be able to get back up. Now, what this does is it will teleport the player to the last their last checkpoint if they touch this trigger. So I'm just going to drag it under the map like so, and then just going to do this. Okay. So once that's gone ahead and been the correct way, gone ahead and set up the correct way, we're going to save, build map, go and let the map build, then go to Steam, Dux Can Drive, and we should be able to load the map, and if we try to fall off the edge, it should teleport us to our last checkpoint. So this should work now. Let's go ahead and see. And there we go. So now it should teleport us to the last checkpoint. So if we hit this checkpoint, it goes in and teleports us. Hit this one, tells us what to that checkpoint. We hit it here, we go to there. Okay, hit this one. Just gonna check most of them to make sure they're teleporting us to the correct location, and also they're not like accidentally teleporting us off the map. So if we can hit this one, and we should be good. Yeah. So yeah. So if you're noticing that maybe the checkpoint is when you hit the thing that takes you to your last checkpoint, if you're ending up like under the map or at a weird area, make sure you're the center of the checkpoint is where the player gets teleported. A little bit higher, but it should be around the center. So make sure your checkpoint center is above the road and not like in like weird areas to where the player might get teleported to. If you're doing like a floating to last checkpoint, if you're using this like to last checkpoint thing. But yeah, that should be everything you guys need to know. If you have any questions, just go ahead and ask me in the comments, or you can go to the GitHub page and maybe put an issue of having any issues. I did forget to mention on how to actually share your map. So if you want to go ahead and share your map, take the files in here, right click and compress them to a zip, and call this zip whatever you want to call your map. So for this case, floating road. And then this is the zip you will share with people. And then if they want to install the map, they will follow this this tutorial here, this way how to do it here. And if you want to publish your map for anyone to grab and download, I recommend going to discussions up here, going to custom maps, and creating a new discussion, and then paste and drop, or paste drop, or click to add files here. So we can just drag and drop like so, and it will upload it and do that. You can call this like, this is my floating roads map, like that. And you can add more about a description here, like blah, 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 blah. However you want to do it. All they need to do is just click this thing, and they will download the map for them. Now, I'm not going to post this because I do not need to. But yeah, but that's a way how you would publish it on this area here. Alright guys, I'm in the middle of editing the video right now, but I forgot to actually make an outro. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you got all the info you needed. If you have any questions, comment down below. Go to the issues page on the GitHub. You know, all that stuff. And I can't wait to see what maps you guys make. Yeah, hope you enjoyed.